Right, okay, we're live again. And I've just run up and down two flights of stairs and I'm out of breath. And what a start! What a
Yeah.
start to a podcast. You'd think that we
Ooh,
didn't
my
practice this at
lighting.
all beforehand.
My lighting is very, very questionable. Hello to viewers. Uh, we will be addressing the chat towards the end of the
Aye.
chat
About
slash
about
podcast, whatever
45
you want to
minutes
call
in
it.
or so, we
Yeah,
shall be
towards the
addressing
end, within the last
chat.
15 minutes, we'll address the chat. So if you want to say something, we're not
Then there's the
ignoring you.
time.
We will answer you. So yeah, welcome to whatever this is.
This is a
Uh,
podcast. That's what this is.
it's
um,
Lockdown has got to us both, and we need something to keep us busy, really. Apart from uni, obviously. That keeps me busy, but not as busy as I would like to be, apparently.
yes, and
So,
I think it's a good time for us to sort of get our voices out there and discuss things, whatever the hell the things are. We want to talk about them,
and
and
it
we
gives
thought,
me a chance to talk to people about stuff other than autism. Because I
yes,
watch YouTube a lot, I watch media quite a lot, I'm a film student. I want a different platform that I can talk to people about the news and what's going on, because I am quite active in that sort of thing. And
yes, yeah, that's what your entire
it's
channel's really
always
geared
good to
towards,
have
isn't it?
a different creative output. We might have guests on in the future. Who knows? I
Yeah, I
might give
don't.
Andy a bell and ask if he wants to come on. But for now, we're just going to chat about what's going on this week. Um,
Shashimi Kumar, thanks for the follow.
um,
Um, so yes, so that's us. So I thought we'd start it. We haven't really got much of a plan for this. We just thought we'd start a podcast and we will see where it takes us. We have got some topics and stuff written out, but I thought a good place to start would be to just talk about us and how the start of our year's been and what a nightmare 2020 was and how glad we are that this is over. So Casper, how's your start of 2021
well,
been?
it's 2021. Um,
Aye.
I've got two deadlines. I handed in all of my work for a deadline, which is tomorrow, today. So I'm early. I'm doing well. I'm hoping I can keep that up for the rest of the year and the rest of my degree. I've got another deadline to next week, which I'm really not looking forward to. But I've managed to get it done during a pandemic, and I think that's quite an achievement no matter what grade I get.
Yeah, that is quite
Uh,
an achievement.
the UK is in lockdown,
It
as
is.
I'm sure whoever is watching knows, because chances are you're probably from the UK. I
Or I've heard
am a
about how
create
much of a nightmare it all is.
and I am a creative student, and we can't go in. We can't work as a film crew. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know how it's going to work. My bedroom isn't a film set,
Yeah.
as you can see. So I'm a bit nervous about that because I won't mention the government, but this lockdown doesn't really cater towards creative subjects.
I mean, I feel the mess they've
In
made of the whole thing goes without saying. To be honest, like, if we were in
Yeah,
lockdown from the start, it wouldn't have. It probably wouldn't have ended up this way. But we can spend the entire podcast talking about how our government has
yeah,
fumbled this, that, and the other. So
but
I think it's best not.
we have started this podcast to as a bit of a distraction from lockdown. I'm sorry about the reflection of my monitor in my glasses. I can see my face in my glasses. It's very annoying, so I'm having to look down. Um, I
The
will.
burdens of being able to
I,
see.
I don't think there's any way to fix that, but I'm looking to get some new glasses over the next few weeks because I'd want some spare ones.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
that's been my 2020. We've not done much. Um I've ordered a new phone which comes tomorrow because it's cheaper than getting my old one fixed.
wow.
And that's it. It's been an uneventful 2021 so far, but it is not even a week in yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a weird start to 2021. I can't help but enter the year with this sense of foreboding, and I don't know if that's just because we've been through 2020 or because I have some sixth senses going on. Ooh. But it's been a bit of a slow start to the year. Obviously, over in America, you've got the whole electoral takeover, exchanging of power is happening on the 20th of this month, I think. I don't know. I don't know me American
Yeah, it's
politics. So that's
towards the end,
something. Yeah, that's something
but
that's really happening this start of the month, but it's been a bit of a slow one. Um,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, no one's been going out. We haven't got much to report because we've been being sensible and staying in the house. I'm an
yeah, as
idiot and
well.
ordered the shopping for the Thursday instead of the Tuesday, so we've got nothing for tea tonight, but that's really dull.
Welcome to podcast 850,001, where we tell you about our shopping.
At some point, I could do a Robbie Knox and do a £35
What
Iceland haul.
do an Asda haul? Wow, my phone just
Yeah,
fell off my
I
desk.
liked his Christmas £101 Asda haul. Yeah, Robbie Knox isn't in this list at all. I just find that any excuse
No,
to talk
no,
about him.
but you know,
Uh,
yeah, I
he's
think that's
just
kind of sets the bar for the podcast. Really, we've started it off with you didn't close your own stream so you could hear yourself, and that was
yeah,
confusing. And we've already started talking about things that
didn't
we have.
happen this year.
Yeah,
Aren't related at all.
but
Although,
I think that's kind of what this podcast is about. So I think I'd like to talk a bit about the podcast itself, and what the name and how we came to the name, because this is podcast 850,001, and this came about because we looked up how many podcasts there are, and there are
there are a
850,000
lot.
podcasts, with over 30 million episodes, roughly around the world. So I thought, because this is a podcast more as a discussional podcast, if you come here and you hear what we have to say, you like what we have to say, we also have other content. I've got a gaming channel. Casper's got a channel where he talks about LGBT stuff and autism related stuff.
And
If you come here and you like us and you follow us and you stick around, we appreciate that. But that's it. You're coming here for the discussion, and also we want this to be a discussion podcast. So around the 45-minute mark, we will open it up, and if there is anyone in chat who does want to speak,
and
I
we
don't
are
feel.
also open to ideas. If if anyone in the comments or chat has any ideas of what you would like us to talk about or what we could do, then feel free to let us know and we'll probably do it because I'm quite lazy and I like it when other people come up with
Come to our
ideas.
podcast where we make you do the work for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
So,
but yeah, we do want it to be a discussive thing. We will also have an archive channel on YouTube. You can find us just under podcast 850,001. We will also have a highlights channel, but you can comment on either of those about whatever, and we might bring up the comments in the discussion around the 45-minute mark is what we've got planned, but obviously things don't always go to plan. I think the start of this podcast can really attest to that.
yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure when I'll be editing the archive thing. It'll be before next week, basically.
so we've talked about how shitty 2022's made us feel. 2021, sorry, we 2022. We haven't been to the future, I promise. But I have got something down here in our notes here. There is something good that happened. Unasanas was my personal highlight, and I just wondered if Casper, you had any personal highlights from 2022. that just made it that bit better because it wasn't
2022?
all horrific. 2020, God,
You mean 2020? My
I
personal
my
highlight,
brain's mixing
like
them up because there's two twos in it. Sorry, go on.
like I do like there was quite a lot of good things happened in 2020. Like
Yeah,
there was Una Sanas, obviously, as you've said.
yeah,
There was I moved to Brighton and came to uni. That's a highlight of my life.
yeah, yeah. What about in what
And
about worldly, like outside of us? What
out
some good things have
outside of
happened?
us, like
Yeah.
uh, I just have my mind's just gone blank. Uh,
Yeah.
I would
No, I
yeah.
find that one
I
hard
I
as
I
well.
discovered Mr. Beast. He
So yeah,
did
so
some pretty
Mr.
great
Beast,
things.
and yes,
Jacksepticeye raised a shit ton of money for
oh yeah, that
dancers.
was good. About
That's
3 million,
pretty good.
wasn't it? Three,
Like
4 million?
he also raised a ridiculous amount of money for the COVID relief fund. And Lad Baby released that 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 there is that 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 second song which got to Christmas #1 and raised about 3 million for food banks in the UK.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen many people talk about that because a lot of people think that Lad Baby are very, very cringy, like uh, uh, family vloggers. But personally, I'm not their target audience. I'm not a parent. I love them. There's something nice about them. They're just a normal working class family who happen to stumble upon some success when Mark posted a video about using a toolbox as a lunchbox. And
I there might be a fair few people if they're watching this on YouTube and that who haven't got a clue what Lad Baby is.
oh yeah,
They're a
Lad
vlogging
Baby.
channel.
They're
Um,
they're
but yeah, I think to
they're a
bring it
family
more
channel,
in a
and
general perspective,
and they do like hacks, and
there's been a lot of charity efforts throughout 2020, which I think is good. I think it really showed up the good and the bad of both sides of um, charity and organizations and individuals, especially on the internet, because there was so much support for people, especially here in the NHS. We've had so much individual support, but not so much
and
governmental support
and food
for
banks
people.
providing free school meals for
Yeah. So there was
kids
been a
in the
lot of
school
good.
holidays. Like it this year, the UK has rallied together to help the people who need it,
Yes.
and that's really good. Like I've never quite seen anything like it. Really, it just shows that despite the fact that people in power are a bit shit, everybody else has good intentions, and we all want to look out for each other. And I think that is very British. Like
I feel like I
as
exited
a whole.
2020 with a more of a perspective on how good individual people can be. Um,
Yeah, like I feel
yeah,
like you wouldn't get it in America. You wouldn't get everybody being so nice and kind anywhere else in the world. It's just such a British thing to do, and I'm happy to be British at the
yeah.
moment with
So speaking of good things and Mr. Beast, because you mentioned him earlier,
uh,
the end of 2020 brought us a very cool YouTube rewind by the man himself, by Jimmy. I can't remember his second name. Um, and
Beast.
my notes, Jimmy Beast.
His second name is Beast.
Is it actually?
No. It
Okay,
might
right.
be. Let me Google it.
You could legitimately tell me that his second name is Beast, and I would believe you.
Hang on. I'm Googling it. Mr. Beast. Full name. Dot, dot, Donaldson.
Oh, Jimmy Donaldson. Okay, but anyway, my notes for because I have this written down in our topics here. My notes for this are: damn, he's such a lovely man. I love him. We stand Mr. Beast on this podcast. Very cool. We rewind. Not as many dislikes as YouTube 2018, 2019. And I just want to talk about it because it's lovely. If you're watching this podcast and you haven't seen Mr. Beast Rewind yet, pause this podcast right now and go and watch it because it's genuinely one of the nicest pieces of sort of creator driven collab content I've ever seen. It was only about 6 minutes long,
And
but it brought together a lot of creators.
and I really hope that he's in charge of it, the official one in future, because there's no denying that um it's just a lot more well done
Yeah,
than the ones that YouTube themselves do.
yeah,
That, like, it just shows that the people who make stuff for YouTube
yeah.
understand YouTube and what the audience like a lot better than
Oh yeah,
whoever the
definitely.
CEO was that did that Will Smith one and
Yeah.
K-pop, like that bit. Like, it
Yeah.
just goes
Oh,
to
that's
show.
hot. Yeah,
It just
yeah,
goes to show that when you give the creators the freedom to do it themselves, and when you give them an input, that they can make something brilliant and a
they
lot
can.
better
They
than,
can and they do, and it was
like.
beautiful to watch,
And
honestly.
the amount of people he got, the way he did the remembering bit for the people who died, that
Yeah,
was beautiful. And it was just, you can tell that he cares about his audience, and you can tell that he cares about the level of content he puts out. And
yeah,
um, it's just a lot nicer than the thrown together, rushed, oh, let's get as many people in one room that YouTube do normally, like with the K-pop Casey
yeah,
Neistat one. Like,
yeah.
that was really obvious that they didn't care what they put out. They just wanted as many people as possible. They wanted as many big names to pull in as many views. And it's really obvious that that's
And
not what Mr. Beast was going for.
yeah, and it's like obviously Mr. Beast is a one man. He has got a team behind it, but I imagine it's not as large a team as YouTube could provide. And yet, this one guy and his handful of people on his one channel managed to band together and bring us a better rewind than YouTube ever has, in my opinion. Like, I
Yeah,
know that there are better rewinds than 2018 and 2019 that are YouTube official ones. I know that, but in my opinion, it's the best one because it seems to be the only one that actually cares about what the creators said in it. That, like, he went
yeah.
around and he interviewed all of
Like,
these creators and he gave a
and he
shit,
did it,
and that
and he
was
did it
cool.
all remotely as well. He still managed to
Yeah.
do it with the restrictions, even though there's not as many restrictions in America, I don't think. Which that's a whole other ball game. But he still managed to do it with all the restrictions. He still managed to make it remotely, which proves that it can be done, and
Yes.
it proves that the the YouTube kind of wimped out when they said they didn't want to do it. Like, they didn't want the challenge of phoning round and FaceTiming loads of YouTubers like he did.
Yeah, and it's not
Like, they
it's
could
not
have quite
even
easily done it, but they decided not to.
my
Which
my the best opinions I've heard on this. I can't actually remember who this is from, but I did hear someone say, uh, I think after 2019 Rewind, when that came out, and it was just this Watch Mojo list of, it was just a bunch of statistics, basically.
I thought that was okay.
I
Like, it
thought it was
wasn't as
okay. It was
bad as.
okay, but it wasn't. It was. It's still. They didn't take any notes from it. They didn't take any notes from the failure of 2018 Rewind, and it was just like, we can't be asked. The best thing I heard on it though is that because YouTube's a company, YouTube's an organization, and they can't risk it. It's shit, and morally it's a bad place to be because you don't listen to your creators and you show them that by not doing this. But from a company perspective, you have this massive organization that if they do put out their opinions out there, like say if they were to include PewDiePie after the bridge scandal and things like that, um, they would suffer monetarily from it. Whereas Mr. Beast benefits monetarily for it, and I feel like YouTube was just hoping that a creator would pick it up, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm hoping it continues. Even if it's not Mr. Beast, if there's if it makes more people want to do it next year, and we end up with like 25 YouTube rewinds from loads of different perspectives, that'd be really cool as well. Like, I think it opens up a whole world now. Mr. Beast has done it. People may view it and think, "Hey, I can do that sort of thing next year. Why don't I?" And I just think it's brilliant. Mr. Beast is just a lovely man, and he always seems to have somebody else in mind with everything he does.
Yes. So, but something negative, unfortunately, that came out of that rewind was Dream getting doxxed because there was a
Oh
section of
yeah,
that
that was.
rewind where some YouTuber or something says, "I wonder what Dream would look like," and it cuts to Dream face reveal for a section of it. And it is Dream. It is the actual Dream himself. But he stands there. He pulls this sign down, but he's still wearing a mask of his logo, of the face on his logo underneath it, and it was
I
just a
think it's
sort
the
of like a
balloon with the
troll.
face on,
Yeah,
like in his
it's
bush
a trolly kind
or
of
something.
haha,
And
I'm not going to reveal my face, which is perfectly fine. He no one's expecting him to reveal his face,
which
but the reaction to that was some person on the internet. I don't know who did this. I don't know why, and I don't want to know because there's just why would you do this to anybody? Someone took a picture that Dream uploaded to his second Twitter account of his kitchen and used that to find his house on a American um, what's it called? The
house for
property
sale site
house
thing.
rent place thing called Zillow. And he found the house, he found the address, and he leaked the address on the internet and
And
doxed Dream. And I just
and
think, for allow me to get angry here for a second, I just think that whoever did that is probably the most despicable person of the year so far. It's been a
I
baby
I I
year,
I
but
just
that is just so terrible.
I just think that stans, and I hate the term stan. Everybody that knows me personally knows that I don't get involved with Stan Twitter, Stan YouTube, Twitter, or anything. I've got some friends that are, and I accept that, but whatever. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. The term Stan came from the Eminem song, which is about uh, a, a fan who's obsessed and stalks him. It and if you don't know what Stan means, and it means mega fan, and you have these Stan accounts who are obsessed with
Yeah,
these people. And it's fine if you just post about liking their videos or liking their music or liking
yeah.
their art or whatever they do. But there's a line. There's a line.
Oh
If
yeah,
somebody doesn't want to show their face on a video, or if someone doesn't want to tell you what city they live in, then respect that. If you're a fan of that person, you should
yeah,
respect that they want their privacy, whether
yes, 100.
that's
percent
not showing their face or not telling you their real name.
Yeah,
Like
exactly,
it's
and
and you
yeah.
can't be a fan if you don't respect
Oh
the
no,
person's
they're
wishes.
not. They're not fans. As soon as you do that to someone, you cross the line of fan to, well, it's illegal. I'm fairly sure there's probably some kind of illegal activity surrounding that. But you cross the line of fan to stalker, and that's the S part of Stan, is the stalkery part, and I just find that despicable because
It's just
I'm a massive fan of a lot of people, but I would never go so far as
like
to violate their privacy or
and
anything like that.
And another thing about stands, actually, um, um, it, is them being really creepy about under 18-year-olds. iNabber made a video about it.
Yes, yes.
People have been drawing
Tommy
not
in
safe
it.
for work fan art of a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah, Tommy in it
And
because yeah, on the subject of
and
Dreams addressed this
people,
as well.
yeah,
Uh,
and he shouldn't have a 17-year-old, or be it anybody, a 17-year-old or a 35-year-old. They shouldn't have to say, "Don't draw porn of me."
yeah,
Like,
unless
I
like
think
obviously
I
there's people that don't mind. Like Dream himself has said, uh, in a video that he doesn't really mind if it's drawn of him, but
but
of Tommy
it's
in
a
it, like
whole,
that he's a
whole
minor, and
other
that's
level of
so
creepy,
fucked up.
because he is a child,
Right.
and there's
By the way,
people that
sorry,
are
Casper, to interrupt for a second, but I do see the messages in chat. We will only be replying to messages around the 45-minute mark of this podcast. We started a little late, so this time around it'll probably be about the 50 minute mark because we had some problems at the start. But yes, I do see your messages. I'm just not responding. I'm not ignoring you, but we have got a section for responding. Sorry, Casper, go carry on.
But yeah, they shouldn't have to say, "I don't want you to draw or make these stories, these fan fictions about me." If they're under 18, it goes without saying. If you are a decent person, you do not think of a child in a sexual manner. Even
Yes.
though he's 17, some people may not see him as a child.
Yeah, and I've seen
Anybody,
arguments about that, and it's just
and
no, you
and
no, that's not an argument that you
and
have.
it's a worrying argument. Anybody who
Yeah,
has that argument, just, that's concerning.
it is. It's
Um,
very concerning that.
and I really feel for the poor kid, because he's at college. He has a normal life, like, as far as YouTube goes.
Yeah,
Like, he still goes to a mainstream college, and he's still studying. I think he's doing video editing or something from that eBoys podcast.
yeah.
I don't watch him
I'm not too
myself
sure.
because he's just not my sort of content. But he shouldn't have to say that he doesn't want people drawing nude art of him. He's a
No,
child,
and no, and that's it's very
and
fucking
I think
and
it
go on.
should go without saying that you shouldn't do that.
Of course. And with Dream getting doxxed and things like that, I over the year another faceless YouTuber who kind of blew up. He already had a following, but he blew up massively because of Among Us and things like that, and because of his lovely voice. But Corp's husband, I've heard Corpse speak a little bit about how he feels about privacy and things like that. To the point he doesn't even like going to doctors because he doesn't want to be recognized. And I've heard him talk about how scared he is of being doxxed, of people of his face being revealed, of people knowing who he is. And at the time, I didn't really understand that when I heard that. And since the start of this year, watching Dream get doxxed and watching all of the people surrounding that, I just think that's so.
Like,
I
I
100%
don't,
get it now. Like
I don't,
it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Imagine if someone just messaged you and been like, or showed up to your door and it's just like, I know who you are, I know where you live because of a photo you took of your fucking kitchen. Like, oh my
I would
god.
move house immediately
Yes,
if that
yeah,
happened to me. To be honest,
and I'm here. I'm not faceless. Like I'm here. I don't mind
hey,
people seeing my face. But the people who hide their face, I can imagine is absolutely diabolically scary
like,
to
and
see stories like this.
Memulus has said that he's had some issues in clubs because he he is a 20-odd-year-old bloke. He goes clubbing when it's allowed. He said that he's had issues of people taking pictures of his face and threatening to post it on the internet unless he does something for them. And that's whole next level. Like,
Yeah.
that's blackmail, that is illegal. And I don't understand how these people who are fans of these faceless YouTubers are willing to do anything to see their face.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
if
not
you
good.
were a fan, it's the same as the Tommy and It Not Safe for Work fan art. If you're a fan, you respect the person's wishes, you respect
Yes,
their
of course.
privacy. If they don't want to be known by face, there's probably a reason for that. Just live your life. It won't change you if you know what corpse looks like or not. It
Yeah.
won't change how your week goes. Like, just move on
No.
with your life and
So
find something better to do with your time.
so speaking of moving on, I feel like we've touched upon this topic. It's quite a sensitive one. It's quite a negative one. So I just wanted to move on to something that's a bit funnier. Still in the subject of Dream, because there's been a lot of Dream news to start the year off. The guy's having a very weird start of the year, but people. There was a very interesting reaction on Twitter and on the internet to Dream saying to his friend George, I believe it is in a video or on Twitter or something, I'm not 100% sure, that he watched the Belle Delphine porn that she uploaded on Christmas Day. And I just thought it's so funny that people cared so much about this.
I think it's because sorry, I'm just putting a hoodie on, I'm cold. I
Right,
think it's because people view him as a children's YouTuber because he's Minecraft.
right,
Like mums on Mumsnet, people who don't watch him and don't know what sort of content he makes will think, oh, he plays this game with blocks. He must be
yeah,
a children's YouTuber. And uh, therefore, there's this outrage that he said he watched porn.
yeah,
But, like, I guarantee it won't be actual fans. It will be the parents of the kids that watch him. But he is
aye,
not a children's YouTuber at all. Like, you've just got to watch one of the Manhunt videos to know that he's not suitable for children, but he's not just for children at all. Like, he uses fruity language,
yeah.
to say the least. And
Fruity language, wow.
and it's those people that are kicking off about it. But he felt the need to mention it in a video because there's probably a lot of his fans out there that are his age and curious as to what Belle Delphine's OnlyFans video was. I know I was. I haven't watched it and I won't. But I
Yeah.
know I was still curious as to what sort of thing it would be. Mainly, I'm curious about the video quality because damn, she must have a good camera. Like, did she have a cameraman filming it for her? That's what I want to know.
God knows, God knows. Apparently, it's quite an amateur porn, but I won't get into that. I respect Belle and what she does. I completely understand how she does it and why she does it, and I feel like, yeah, it's not really my place to comment because I'm not going to watch the video. I haven't watched the video, and I'm not really that bothered. I
Yeah,
just found it
but
hilarious that people cared so much. And I get what
yeah,
you're saying about parents caring. Um,
like
but it's
I
just like
understand.
it's porn. It's porn. You sure it's porn of a woman that is identified as, oh, I can't say SIMP anymore on Twitch, can I?
Oh,
But as the
she's
queen of
the queen of men falling
people,
at her feet is
yes,
the
you
best
know,
way to put it.
on the internet, at least anyway. Um,
Like I want to
and
know if she's like that in
sure
real
it's a
life.
high profile porn, but it's still just porn. And I just thought it was so strange that people had such an adverse reaction. And I've got more Dream news here about
I
his
think we need
speedrunning
to move on
controversy, but
from
I feel
something
like
that is
we need to
dream.
move on from something that isn't Dream.
Uh,
But just
but
to touch on it briefly, and I'm sure everyone who's watching this has already known about this because it's old news by now. But the Minecraft speedrunning controversy, it all ended. He hired an astrophysicist to try and disprove it, and they upheld the decision. But I'm not too bothered about that one.
Yeah,
I think we should move on from Dream because there's been a lot of Dream
but
news. Can I rant about Cyberpunk 2077 for 5 minutes?
the can I continue on about the video that Belle posted on Christmas Day?
I mean,
Uh,
okay, sure. If we, yeah,
I mean, I'm interested in Belle Delphine as a person, not for the same reason that her fans are, but I
right.
want to know, like, what it's like for her to go to the shop these days. Because we live down the road from her now, pretty much. And
Does she live here in this in
she
the
lives in
city?
Brighton, yeah. She lives in Brighton. I know that
I mean, I
much.
wasn't going to say
Um,
where we lived, but okay,
I've
cool.
already said that I've
We
moved
live
to
in
Brighton for
Brighton.
you not liking this.
Oh right,
Uh,
okay, yeah.
yeah, she lives in Brighton. Don't know where because I'm not a creepy weirdo. But I want
Hmm.
to know, like, do people recognize her from that in the shop sort of thing? I would be really interested to sit down and speak to her about what it's like being her because it's not the same as being like PewDiePie or Jacksepticeye or Kick the
Yeah.
PJ or another one of the famous YouTubers that live in Brighton. It's a totally different ball game. Like, does I want to know if she has men being like they are to her on the internet in real life. And
Yeah.
I
I
think it would be
imagine
really interesting if she spoke about this at some point.
because I feel the pink hair is a wig, right? It's got to be.
I I'm not sure. Like I also want to know if it's not a wig, what hair dye does she use?
Because
Because
I feel like she would either have to wear a disguise when out,
but but
or
she
that she would have to, or that for things like shopping and things like that, she gets. Obviously, everybody's getting shopping delivered at the moment, but you know, in her normal life, she would have to either pay someone to go out and get it, or pay someone to bring it to her.
yeah,
Because
it
you
must
couldn't
be a
just go
really
to the
isolated life.
supermarket. Like I imagine PewDiePie has a hard enough time driving to a supermarket or going out shopping or whatever. Imagine a like I don't know how tall she is. I was gonna say like 5'3" or
I
something.
think she's
But
about my
imagine,
height.
yeah, imagine this
Like I
like
know she's really
tiny
short.
girl who's known for doing sexually
Like
suggestive content on the
like
internet
is
going
it
out
safe
when there are
for her
people
to
out
go
on
to
the
the pub with her friends?
people out there that are so aggressively sexual towards her on the internet.
Like
Um,
I'd I'd just be interested to know whether she feels safe um eating out at a restaurant with her family or friends or having a pint at the pub. Probably not a pint, she's Belle Delphine, she'd have a cocktail, let's be honest. uh I'd just really like to know how she overcomes those everyday situations because I know every famous person must have issues with people coming up to them and looking and asking for pictures and stuff, but it's different. Like I don't know, I really respect her in a way for putting herself out there as much as she does and keeping her life so secret. Like I only know she lives in Brighton because I had a lecture on famous people that lived in Brighton at the start of the year, and someone was like, she lives here," and I was like, "I didn't
yeah,
know that." Like
yeah,
she is very secretive, so maybe
yeah.
she
Well, she
just
would have to be.
goes out.
I feel
As you
like it's the
said,
whole part
maybe
of it.
she just goes out in a disguise, but she shouldn't have to. Like,
No, of course you shouldn't have to,
but
but obviously
um,
it's the world we live in, and people on the internet are very creepy and very strange about these kind of things. So,
yeah,
we've got about 7 or so minutes before we open it up to chat because I have three
uh,
viewers lurking in my chat. So I would like to see if anyone's got anything to say, but I'll do that in a bit. Can I just quickly rant about Cyberpunk 2077 because it's been on my
yeah,
mind? I know it's old news, but I've only seen one person talk about this, right? the whole thing with Cyberpunk 2077 coming out and being really glitchy on the PS4 and the Xbox One. CD Projekt Red, who in my opinion have made some of the best games, some of those games being The Witcher 3, but they make good games, and I won't sit here and defend a multi-million company because they're faceless, and I don't care about them really because companies don't deserve that. But the individuals, the developers, the people who made the game, the creators and the creatives and the artists and the actors and everything that went into that, all of these people with all these jobs and everything, I don't think they should have got as much flack for Cyberpunk being glitchy on the PS4 and the Xbox One as
Yeah,
they did,
like
because
it's
I've heard. Sorry, I just want to rant about this for a minute. I've heard that the producers at CD Projekt Red are also to blame for this, but no one is talking about the fact that in order for it to be on the PS4 and on the Xbox One, both Sony and Microsoft had to receive a copy of that game, play it on their own console, and then be like, "Oh yeah, this is good. This can run on this." Sony haven't
yeah.
got any flack for it, and neither has Microsoft. And I feel like instead of blaming
I
the game devs for this, saying, "Oh, they didn't test their game or whatever," because they tested their game. They definitely tested their game. Um, Blame Sony for signing off on it being on the PS4. Blame Microsoft
yeah.
for signing off on it being on the Xbox One. They're a new
And
generation consoles, and the only reason Sony and Microsoft signed off on that is to sell PS4 and Xbox Ones before they became irrelevant. That's it. And
I
and it just annoys me so much that the
and
developers
I
for this
also
game
feel
got
like the
flack for it.
fans are very, very quick to pass judgment on these people. Like, you see people having a go at the company for the game not working. You don't see anyone praising them
Yeah.
for
For the
for
amount of effort and work and
and
many years what went into making this game happen,
like
you don't see
the
anyone being like, "Good job, well done."
and how aggressive the fans were as well.
Yeah,
Like, why did they bother doing something nice for them? Because they were so aggressive. Like, some of the tweets were threats, like,
yeah. No, they
to the
received they
developers
received
and their families.
they received
Like,
death threats
like
through the internet, and it's
that,
awful. And why would
and
you? Why?
why would you? Why would you ever want to make something for people again if that's the reception you get for it being a little bit laggy?
Yeah.
You just
Or
need
for
to
another
grow
a
up.
completely different company signing off on something that isn't playable.
Yeah,
If like
like,
sign off on
and
the PS5 and the Xbox Series X being able to play it, that is fine. But don't sign off on an out of date console being able to play this game just so that you can use another company as a scapegoat and all of its employees suffer for that.
and
I just think that's really
it's
awful.
just like, they do have a right to be upset, but it is never okay to send someone threats over the
Yeah,
internet, especially not over a bloody video game. Like, they all, like, it goes for everybody on the internet, really. Before you type something, before you type a threat to someone, you need to take a step back and think, wow, is that a dickhead thing to do? And if you're sending anybody a death threat
yeah.
over a video game, you need to take a step back and sort your life out.
Reevaluate your life,
Like,
definitely.
exactly, like the fans of this video game, like, what the fuck? Like, I
Yeah.
like video games. I play video games in my spare time to relax.
Uh huh.
But I am very glad that I will never be the sort of video game player that thinks it's okay to send someone threats because a game was laggy on my computer, on my
Aye.
PlayStation. Like, that is, you have a right to be upset and angry, but it's never okay to be that angry. If you're that angry over a video game not working, you shouldn't be playing video games because there's clearly something going on. And
No.
like, I don't know, just a lot of the video game fan fandoms that I've seen just seem to be very, very poisonous.
Yes. Yeah, no, I feel like that's the case,
And,
especially with anonymity on the internet being what it is. Talking
yeah,
about people being angry, though, and to kind of flip it around, because we've had praise for CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk so far in this podcast, but to flip it back round, just quickly, because I want to get on to seeing if anyone in chat wants to broaden the discussion in a moment. I just want to touch upon the last thing with Cyberpunk 2077. And Casper, I will leave most of this to you because it doesn't really affect me as a cisgendered person. But gender in Cyberpunk 2077 was assigned to your voice. And there are certain decisions
and
and certain
that's
characters
just
you can romance
it.
in the game that are affected by this. So if you had a female bodied person and you had a masculine voice, you could only romance someone who is into masculine voices. And it's just very strange that they made that
And
decision. And how
and
could they have done that better, Casper?
it's just gross. It's disgusting, and it's the reason I won't be playing that game until it's fixed. Because I'm a trans guy. I have I have a female body. I'm using the quotation marks, and a
Yeah,
masculine voice.
yeah,
And a lot of Cyberpunk's marketing was about non-binary people and how
yeah,
non-binary people were included, and about how it was amazing that non-binary people were included, and then they
yeah,
didn't fucking include them. Like, if your gender is dictated by your voice, you're not catering to the trans community like your advertising says that you are. And yes,
yes,
I know that there were trans people on this development team. I know that there was LGBT people on this
yeah,
development team because I've researched it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I've got trans friends and non binary friends that were really excited to play this game because they thought they would be able to have a voice and a body like theirs and go by they them pronouns.
oh,
You can't. What's
yes,
the
and
point of advertising it in the way that it did? And I know that there's little trans flags hid
yeah,
about the game in chests and stuff from, again, friends that have played it.
yeah,
So they are actively trying to include the trans community,
and
but
yet the
they've
character creation,
half-hearted it.
yeah.
Like, so much so that me, a trans person, won't be playing that game until it's
And
fixed.
it's I find it very odd that
Like,
they put all of this out there and advertised it the way they did, and then they just fell short in the
yeah,
character
like
creation, and
like
it's such an odd
it's
place
so easy
for it
to
to
do.
fail.
Like The Sims do it perfectly. The
Yes,
Sims are like, can
I
your
don't.
character have
Yeah,
children or not? And that is the gender, and you can assign
yeah.
whatever voice. And I will
I don't
always
have
say,
much of a knowledge of game development myself, but I have studied it a little bit. I've had my dabbled my hand in it a little bit, and I know that there will be a variable somewhere in the code that says, is this character masculine or is this character feminine? Unfortunately, I don't think non-binary is as easy a
like
fix, and they should have done programmed that from the
like
start. But
all
hold
you
on, let
need
me
to
say
do,
this, please. Um, there will be a variable somewhere that just says, is this character masculine or is this character feminine? And you can just tie that to another switch that says, is this character masculine or is this character feminine, and have the voice thing completely separate. And that would be an easy fix even now. The non-binary thing, not so much, but the the gender thing, in terms of it being binary anyway, is an easy enough fix to do. Just tie it to a different variable, tie it to a different button that says yes or no. And that would be easy, and I just don't understand why they failed there.
and like I don't understand with the non-binary thing. A lot of their
Yeah,
advertising within the game includes non-binary people.
aye,
Like, there's non-binary characters in the game, supposedly. I'm not going to say there is because I haven't played it. I haven't seen any trans people say that there is yet, so I'm saying supposedly.
Ah,
There's supposedly non-binary characters in the game.
yeah,
But it would be very easy to just put a sliding scale as would you like your voice to be high or low? You
yeah,
don't need to put gender into it. You do it with pitch,
yeah,
and you can put it in the
yeah,
middle, which is somewhere in the middle. And the
yeah,
same with the body type. Like, would you like your character to be curvy or non-curvy? You don't need gendered language in character creation
uh-huh,
at all.
yeah.
And
And I feel like it would be an easy fix to do now the game's out. Like it would be an easy update to make. Unfortunately, the non-binary thing though, because they would have to re-record lines, so I don't think they would ever be able to update it since. But I just find it so weird. Like as you say, they marketed it as a non-binary friendly and things like that, and then they just didn't include that at all. And I just thought
like
that was very
like I
strange.
cannot imagine the non-binary people that spent 60 quid on that game um on the premise that they could be non-binary, put it into their computer or PlayStation or whatever, and then it was a lie.
Yeah,
Like it just seems like a proper little bump that they could
yeah.
have fixed. If The Sims 4 can do it, every game can do it.
Yeah. We are running over a little bit now, and we're sort of getting towards the end of the podcast, about 15 minutes, and I think we will wrap up. So I have two viewers in my Twitch chat. So if either of
I do not
you
have any.
if either of you lurkers there, I do see you. And yes, hello. Someone did say hi earlier. Hello, Lana. I did see your message earlier where you said hey. But if you do feel like adding into anything we've talked about right now, now is the time. We'll give about 5 minutes here where we will just talk. If you don't feel like chatting right now, that's fine. But I will also say we will
There's
be uploading
obviously no
this
pressure.
to. Of course, of course. But we will also be uploading this to YouTube, where there will be an archive channel and a highlights channel. So if you are watching this in the future on YouTube right now, I'm looking at the camera. Yes, you specifically. I see you. I see what you're doing. I know what you did. um, but yes, if you are watching this and you are on YouTube, leave a comment. And in the next episode, if there's anything you would like us to cover, if you have any suggestions, or if you just have anything that you want to discuss, and add to the discussion that we had in this episode, we might briefly touch upon it around the same timestamp as we're talking about this now. So yeah, that's a thing. So yes, feel free. I would quite like to get some interaction between us and the people that watch us. Um,
That
I've
would
got
be nice, yeah.
I've got no messages coming through on live stream. I think they're a bit shy, but that's okay. If any time in the next 5 minutes anyone does want to say anything or add anything, that's fine. If not, there's no pressure. In the meantime, though, I would just quite like to give a bit of a shout out. Not that he needs it. To James Marriott, who had a good start to the year, the YouTuber
Yeah,
slash singer who brought out his new music, his new song and music
on New
video.
Year's Day, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
Let me Google it.
It's called Him. And it is a beautiful song. I adore it. Listened to it. I've listened to it on repeat since it came out. It's an amazing song. However, I will say that this man cannot direct a music video.
It's just for me what is the most. I'm not going to say funny because he's done so well to put himself out there. Is
Yes, of
really
course.
obvious that
I
he's
mean,
not
I'm
used
saying this
to.
with like I
Um,
couldn't do it. I haven't done that, so
he's
my judgment is take it
um
with a pinch of salt.
he's not used to having his legs on camera. And it's really obvious from the
Yes,
video
and he
because
doesn't know what to do with his hands.
he
They're all
doesn't know
over the
how to hold
place.
himself, and I just
Yes.
find that really amusing.
Yes.
Like it's
This is not very big criticisms though. I do love the song. And
like
I
the song
respect the
is
man
very
for
good,
trying with the music video. It's just it's
but
very
he's done his best
it's very odd. Yeah.
with lockdown and everything. He
Oh,
wouldn't have
I.
been able to go and get a big group of people to help him. Like, and it looks, although he threw it together in a few days, like he
Yeah.
did really well to release any sort of official video during a pandemic.
And to make the
Um,
song as well, to make a song right now must have been so much work because he
I
wouldn't be
think
able to
his
go out to a
EP is
studio.
coming out in a few months, isn't it? He hasn't said when because he's not sure because um, he hasn't said when
Yeah.
because he's not sure because no one's sure of when anything's going to happen. But
No, of course not.
yeah, I'm very excited to hear what he has for us. He could be the next YouTube musician after Corpse and Troy Sivan. And is Troy Sivan still going? Troy Sivan is still going. I've just not listened to him since Blue Neighborhood. He was one of the original YouTubers who made the progression into the music industry and then stopped doing YouTube and now he's just a musician. I
Yeah,
assume. I don't know.
you mentioned Corpse there. Corpse is apparently doing a video or a music a music. He's doing a music. He's doing a song with Machine Gun Kelly. I don't really I
I
I have
am
my own
not a fan
opinions
of
on
him.
Machine Gun Kelly, but I have liked some of his songs, and I
I
believe a
am not
collab
a fan.
With Corpse's voice and everything would be very very good listening. Myself, I believe that
Yeah,
would be great.
I think seeing a YouTuber do a song with such a mainstream artist because he is very, very like everybody's heard of him.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah.
and
For better or for
for
worse, everyone has
for
heard of Machine
Corpse
Gun
to be
Kelly.
doing a song with someone who is in the mainstream industry. It's like when YouTubers were first on the telly, like when
Aye,
Joe Sugg
yeah,
was on
yeah,
Strictly Come Dancing. It's that sort of thing. It's two worlds colliding, and it it will open doors for that to happen again with
yeah.
many different musicians and non-YouTube musicians. And I think it will be the start of a new wave of music colliding, which could
Oh,
be
yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be lovely, especially with some of the music I'm hearing come out of YouTubers recently. I
even if I
think it's
don't like,
just very
even if I
cool.
don't like the person that Corpse is doing the song with.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just because I'm quite picky with music. I can be quite elitist with music. I'm hold my hands up and say that. I'm I absolutely despise the man because he released an album and is referring to himself as the king of pop punk. Um,
Yeah, I will say though, uh,
like, but
aside from the
it
we just got a message. Lana just says love corpse with heart eyes. So
okay. That's good.
yes, I can
That's
relate. I can
good.
relate.
Yeah, Corpse.
Adore
I
corpse.
didn't think I'd like his music because I'm not into that sort of music at all. I'm
Yeah.
into like folk punk and pop
Show
punk
me like you love me when you.
and
Sorry.
and the punk side of music. And
Yeah.
one day I was like, right, I'm gonna listen to Corpse because I'm on TikTok. I'd heard the "Choke Me" like that one on TikTok. It's a TikTok
Yeah.
song. I
Yeah.
heard it and I thought, you know what? That's catchy. I'll give it a listen. I listened to it, and it's opened up an entire new genre of music for me. I didn't
I
think
yeah.
I would ever like that sort of genre of music.
Hmm.
Like, and it's I haven't listened to any other artists that are like Corpse because I don't think there are any other artists that are like Corpse. Because people listen to Corpse for his voice, and the people who say they don't listen to Corpse for his voice are liars. Uh, like
Like also I will say this. Now you've said that even if Corpse didn't have the lovely voice that he does, because he is just
Yeah,
nice to listen to. He is a lovely man. I've seen him
like
interact with other people. I've seen how
I
he talks
think,
to others. He is well-meaning. He's polite. He's a nice person. He's a nice
and
YouTuber. I've seen him
and
interact with Jacksepticeye, who's another YouTuber I really respect in the gaming scene, and I really like because he's just so nice. At least, obviously, the persona online and the person themselves are different. But I get the general feeling, especially with the money that they've raised, that they are nice people. And I just think that Corpse would be a lovely guy, even if he didn't have his lovely deep voice. So I
and
do want to
I
just say,
really
like,
respect him
the
as
voice
well.
isn't the only
So
thing I like about the man,
I do really
even though it's
respect him
very nice.
because he has this illness. He's a very, very poorly guy.
Yeah, it's not
To
really our
put it
place to comment too much on
to
the
put it
illness,
in
though.
simple terms, and he still manages to make other people happy, even though he's spoken on streams. Like I've watched streams where he said that sometimes when he's streaming, he doesn't feel like streaming, but he still does it because he knows that people want to watch him. And
Yeah,
he doesn't have to do that. Like,
no,
he's just really nice and he loves his fans. Um, he had a really successful merch drop actually on New Year's Day.
I haven't looked, but I did see that
I
it's
didn't
come up.
look at any of his merch because it's American shipping. I'm not paying American shipping
Hmm.
ever. But he had a really successful merch drop, which just shows that his fan base are really nice. And I wish he would make more creepy story videos, personally. But I do enjoy the Among Us. I just do wish he would do some true crime
Yeah,
as well as his creepy Reddit videos from a few years ago. But who
yeah.
knows? He might branch out into that in the future.
So with the standing of corpse being said, and I feel like there is another story here, but I think it's a bit of a sadder note to end on. So maybe we'll save it for next week. We are planning on doing this podcast every week on Wednesday. I will always be here. Casper, you might not. You did say that you
I
have
might
got
not,
some deadlines.
depending on deadlines and stuff next term.
Yeah,
Like
which is perfectly
depending
understandable.
on when they fall and what the workload I've got to do and whether I've got to do Zoom meetings with other people to work with them.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I might
the plan is
drop off every now and again.
the plan is every Wednesday at 5. We also have another host who we will introduce possibly next episode, maybe the episode after that. He is also in uni, so he may not he might only be a semi-regular host. I have plans to always be here every week at 5. So you will at the very minimum see me every week. I'm so sorry. But with all of that being said,
Um,
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I think we're going to wrap up now, unless there's anything else you want to say, Casper.
I think I'm gonna aim to have the video out on YouTube by the weekend.
Yeah, for the
Sunday at
archive
the
and
latest.
for the
If I
archive.
upload on a Sunday every week, because not many people upload on a Sunday, it's probably quite a good idea to upload on a Sunday.
We can discuss that afterwards, but
Yeah.
yes, go check out. We haven't got links for it yet because I forgot to set them up, but we should have links in our Twitch. And I will be putting them on my YouTube anyway. But if you do search podcast 850,001, you hopefully should be able to find it. Yeah. Oh, and also I will be uploading to the highlights channel over the next week, just little clips of things we've talked about that I can clickbait, basically.
Yeah. And I'll
And
just be whacking the whole thing out. I probably won't
yeah,
edit
the
anything
archive
out
will be
because
unedited unless we say something that we deem unfit for YouTube. But if it's
and
unfit for YouTube, it's probably unfit for Twitch anyway.
and
So
and
we
I
probably
don't
just
think we
wouldn't mention
have.
it.
Like
Yeah,
we and we're off to a good start. We haven't said anything that isn't fit for YouTube yet.
yeah.
But
But
it's
we're
all a
anyway,
matter of time. It's early days
we're
yet.
getting into the meta of it, which is
Um,
stuff that the viewers don't really need to hear. This is stuff that we can just discuss amongst ourselves and figure out over the next week. But yes, archive channel, highlights channel, here every every Wednesday at 5 on both my Twitch and Casper's Twitch at Flappy Hands and Stims. That is FlappyHandsandStims. I hope you got that because I'm not going to repeat it. So, thank you so much for watching along, and yeah, I will see you next week. Anything to add, Casper?
See you on the YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Farewell.
Right, lovely. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.